thought that was you walking on the road, Narita. How long have you been away?
About 3 years. Been trying to find a job in the city.
Ah. Back for a holiday, eh?
Yes,
Here things are pretty tough in Melbourne.
that's right.
For every job, there's 10 that wants it, eh? I can only drop you at the gate, sorry.
Thanks, Mr. Riley. Bye.
Yeah, look after yourself.
Ivy! Narita's coming.
Mom! Oh, why didn't you tell me you was coming? No, that surprised you. Dad! Come here, darling. How are you, Dad? What's that thing you got on there?
So I left that woman's place and went to school. It took a long time and it was hard work, but I finished the bookkeeping course all right.
I was sure of that, my girl. And it's good to have you on.
Thanks. My qualifications were great until they saw my face. They still think we can't count to more than 3.
Ivy? Yes, Mrs. Felden? Ivy?
Morning. I'll check the blankets first. How many have you got altogether?
4.
I thought we had you down for 5.
It's 4, 1 for each person.
Right. Bedrooms ready? How are you feeling today, Rebecca?
I'm fine, thank you, Mrs. Phil.
Dusted all these on top?
Yes.
Good. Who are you?
That's my daughter, Nerida. She's just come home.
Have you reported to Mr. Felton yet?
I've just got here.
Have you got your permit to come on the mission?
No.
You go and see him straight away.
I'll have a bit of a rest first, Mrs. Felton.
You know the rules, Nerida.
Yes, she does. I'll make sure she comes up.
There'll be an inspection again in a fortnight.
Go on, get!
You finished your work, you can go, Mason.
Yes, Mrs. Felton.
Did you manage to catch up with some of your bookwork, Frank? Three houses I couldn't get into. The people weren't home. God knows where they went. Their names are in the ledger. Don't know why I bother.
Well, don't. It's a waste of time.
You've said it. Waste of time.
Never mind, sis. Don't let her spoil you. I'm coming.
What are you doing with yourself these days?
Nothing much. Shearing finished. What else is there to do?
Lots by the looks of it. This place is a mess.
Yeah. But that bloke Felton, he's a real gubbar, Neary. Don't give a damn on how the people live. Kid getting sick because the toilet pan been washed with a cattle drink. The school, teacher gone. Mr. Felton give a lesson now and then, when she finds the time. This whole place needs an overhaul.
You remember little Annie? Yeah. Remember how they come and took her away and put her in that Cootamundra home?
And nearly killed her mother.
Well, I saw Annie in Melbourne. She ran away from that woman that they put her with as a domestic. That woman used to hose her down with cold water as punishment.
How old Annie now?
14.
All right, come inside. You stay here. Close the door.
Anderson. Rita.
You haven't spent much time here at the mission? Like the bright lights, eh? What did you do in Melbourne?
I worked.
What are you doing back here now? Get the sack?
No,
What happened?
that doesn't concern you, does it, Mr. Felton?
Look, I'm the manager around here, so you just watch how you talk to me.
If you must know, I resigned.
Trouble with a fella, eh? Well, you can make yourself useful around here. Tidy up the place, do the chores. Maisie comes in 3 days a week. You can do the other days. I'll pay you in rations, 3 and 6 a week.
I'd rather do bookkeeping, Mr. Felton.
Bookkeeping? I got you down as domestic.
I did a course in evening classes.
Good for you. Well, we'll see. Might give it a go someday. Start in the morning, 8 o'clock. Sharp.
You want to watch him, my girl? He's got an eye for the women, that fellow.
Oh, don't worry, Mum. I met his type before.
That's only Rachel. Come on in!
Auntie Rachel.
Hi,
Rita. Heard you'd come back.
Hello, my auntie. How are you?
Great to see you.
I'm glad you came over.
You remember Andy?
Of course I do, Auntie. How are you, Andy?
You will watch out what you say in front of this bloke here. He's a preacher now.
Yes, and he just graduated from Bible college.
Oh, hello, Ned.
Who's he working with? Is he working with that new minister?
Hello, Andy.
Oh, hello, Uncle Bill.
Thanks, Andy.
You right?
You'll die if you don't stop that smoking.
I'll die without it.
Me and Andy just been down to see the new pastor that's here until Andy takes over. And guess what? All he had for tea was one potato.
Potato?
What does the church do to let him starve like that?
You all right, Bill?
I got him, Mum. It's all right. Thanks, Andy.
Gonna go lie down, eh? You know you're bloody sick.
Oh, Dad.
I'll be all right, my girl.
Righto, Ada. You've been playing up a bit, haven't you?
No curry, no fat. There you are. That's it. Off you go. Go on, off you go. Go on, quick.
Hello, Mr. Felton.
Hello, Maisie. How are you? You've been a good girl, haven't you?
Thanks, Mr. Felton.
Okay. Store's closed. Come back in an hour.
He's always doing it. What hope have we got? He gets rid of our men, sends them to work. What chance have the women got against Gunsy ones?
Do you know who they've come for, Mum?
Come on. Mrs. Merkin, yes.
Petition to the Aboriginal Protection Board of Australia, to whom it may concern. We, the undersigned, residents of Kumala Mission, hereby forward this petition.
But a petition won't get you anywhere.
We've got to try, Mum.
It won't stop the kids being taken. It's the government that's doing it.
Yes, but Felton's giving them the names. They wouldn't know about the kids if he didn't tell them, Mum.
And that bloke, he's doing a lot of other things, too. What about the trust account he say you got for all the workers? We ain't seen a single fighting of that.
Have you any proof?
No.
And you won't. Those white fellas stick together.
How are you going to get any signatures without Felton finding out?
I'll take the petitions on my rounds. There's a lot of people sick of the conditions here.
It's only bringing more trouble. There are spies everywhere.
Ivy's right.
What if Felton kicks you out? He's done it to others. There's no work, your father's sick. Even the white fellas are having a bad time. And what about your citizenship papers? If you make trouble, you'll spoil all your chances.
Piece of paper don't give you dignity, Mum.
You'll be free to go wherever you want.
Australian citizens. Look at Dad. He fought at Gallipoli and in France. He was gassed over there and his lungs are a mess. But do they think of him as an Australian citizen?
No.
To them, he's just an abbo.
Yeah, and if we're going to let the managers become Australian citizens, Mum, we don't want their bloody citizenship papers.
Someone's got to tackle Felton, Mum.
Oh, come on in, fellas, come in. Have a beer, eh? There we are. Well, now, what do you got for me today?
Oh, well, there's been a big fight at the Jackson house.
Hmm? What about?
Oh, Fay was caught running around with Blanche's husband.
Was she?
So the whole family come down.
Yeah?
Oh, Rhonda's still carrying on her kid about her kid being taken away from her.
What else?
Oh, is this Ron Anderson?
He'll give you trouble, that one.
How?
Oh, you're talking about conditions.
Is he now? Well, what does he say?
That they're no good.
And what do you think?
Oh, he's just out to make trouble, this fella.
Well, you two keep an eye on him, because you're the best two sheriffs I've got. So your brother wants to be a big shot, eh? Come here. Seems to run in the family, doesn't it? Qualified bookkeeper. Well, let's see how good you really are. Come on.
But I haven't finished my other work yet.
Oh, don't you worry about that. Come on. Sit down. How are the figures?
Looks all right.
Well, isn't that good? You know, you can do your family a lot of good. Or a lot of harm. Especially your brother.
Felton,
Go on out.
you don't understand.
Will you get out of here?
Sorry, Joan. I don't know what came over me.
Well,
She's been trying it on ever since she got here. Come in with her blouse undone. Threw herself at me.
These women have no morals at all.
one of them. Here's my daughter, Mr. Shaw.
How are you, Nerida?
Fine, thanks, Reverend.
Your mother tells me you've just rejoined your family. That's good. Very good. Fine woman, your mother. A true Christian. You must be very proud of her. And a great cook, as I had the opportunity of finding out last night.
Would you like some tea? I got the kettle on.
Oh, lovely. Thanks, if that's not too much trouble. So, lived in Melbourne all those years. Well, I know that city well. Not easy for a young girl living there on her own.
I stayed with my aunt,
Oh, that's good. What suburb?
Fitzroy.
Ah, well, you know the Reverend Mr. Langley, then. Sit down, Nerida. Life here at Kumala must seem very dull to you. You will have had friends, excitement in the city. But now, in this quiet place, you'll be able to look into yourself, find spiritual peace. I'd like to read you a passage from the Bible. It's about temptation. We must never give way to it. Nor must we lead others into it.
I don't know what you mean.
You're involved in a very unfortunate incident this afternoon, Nerida.
That's for sure.
I'm glad you agree with me. Once you realize that you've sinned...
Me? I've done nothing wrong. What did Felton say? That I started it?
Now, let's not level accusations.
I want to know, because if he did, he's lying.
Don't upset yourself, Nerida.
I don't throw myself at anyone, least of all Felton.
The Lord can see right into your heart, Nerida.
I've got nothing to hide.
We're all sinners. We must face up to that. Once we've done that, once we've seen the devil who resides inside us, then we can grab him by the tail and throw him out.
Preach that to Felton. He can do with it.
Why don't you go back to your Bible class and stop upsetting this girl?
Hello, Mr. Watson? That's right. Pleased to meet you. The wife, Mr. Watson. Mrs. Felton.
How are you, sir?
Why don't you come on inside the house? Yes, lovely.
You picked a nice day for it.
Glorious, isn't it? Keeping this place spick and span.
We do our best.
So, how are things in general? Any trouble? There's been some unrest on the other missions, have you heard?
Yes, shocking. With the war going on.
Well, there's nothing like that going on round here.
Good.
Not many people here.
Yeah, they're scared. Can't blame them.
This is Mr. Watson. He's a new officer for the Aboriginal Protection Board. He'd like to have a few words with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I've just been having a conversation with your manager, Mr. Felton, and it seems like you're all pretty happy here at Kamala. Just...
Watson. There's something here I'd like you to pass on to the Aboriginal Protection Board.
What is it?
It's a petition.
What's your name?
Andrew Turner.
He's the up-and-coming minister.
Well, Andrew, it's good to see you taking an interest in your future flock. Anything else you'd like to tell me? Any problems or complaints?
Find it all in the petition.
Very well, Andrew. I'll see you get an answer to this.
We'd appreciate it. Mama, I got Felton to ring the doctor. Not about an argument. And the doctor said that you're not coming out all this way for anyone. And we're going to take Dad into town hospital.
Ron, go ask Mr. Short. I know he'll know.
Wait, I'm coming too.
Yeah.
They've gone for the doctor, Bill. He'll be right. He'll be right.
Sorry for waking you at this time of the night.
That's all right. Come in. Come in.
Our father is very ill. Can you take him to hospital, please?
Have you got a permit from the manager to go into the town?
We can get on the way out.
No, that won't do. You know the rules.
Look, he could be dying while we stand here talking.
We can't go behind Mr. Felton's back. That would be wrong.
But we're not asking you to do anything wrong.
Now you go and talk to the manager. You can't do anything without that. Then you come back
No,
here to me.
come on, Mary.
No, I'm not taking the truck out this time of night and this rain. Not for you nor anybody.
If we don't get him to hospital now, he'll die.
You come back in the morning. You'll be all right tonight.
Please, he's coughing up a lot of blood.
Look, Mr. Felton, if anything happened to my father, I'm going to hold you responsible.
You threatening me?
That time someone stood up to you.
Don't push me, fella. If you don't watch your step, you'll be put right off this mission.
I was born here.
I don't care where you was born.
I'll have no wait for telling me come and go.
No, you and Bill ride in the back.
But not in this rain.
No black fella rides in the cabin with the manager. You know the rules. And if you don't, learn them now.
You bastard.
Right, if that's the way you want it, give it walk. Go on, you got your son to blame for this. I want you off this mission now. Bloody bastards all here.
Please, Mr. Felton.
Right, you can go. When I get back, I want you gone. If you're still here, watch out. Now you ride in the cabin. Come on, it'll be all right. Here, take my coat. Go on, take it. You're a very pretty girl, Marita.
save yourself the trouble, please.
Ah, come on.
No!
It's with you bloody blacks. Bugger if I can understand you.
No, you don't, do you? You've got no idea. To you, we've got no feelings. To you, we're just savages.
Just a minute.
Have you ever tried to understand? Have you ever thought that we're humans? Why don't you use your head instead of what's hanging beneath your back?
Alita! That's a long walk home! How are you, Rebecca?
I'm all right, thank you. What do you want?
Is Ivy at home?
No, she's not.
Well, I've come to see if there's anything I could do.
Haven't you done enough already?
You're off your head. You won't get a bloody halfpenny out of me. How are you going to keep yourself? Think you're sponging off young Billy, are you? Well, he won't put you up. He's got enough on his plate with Mary and the kids.
Your dinner's in the oven. You can heat it up.
You won't get a job. Who'd have you? Joan, let's sit down and talk.
It's too late for that.
Don't leave me. I need you here. You know that.
Yes, there's an inquiry coming up.
No, not that.
Get Maisie to help you out. With that Nerida Anderson.
Ah, she's a stupid bitch. There's nothing between her and me.
If you can't be anything else, at least be honest.
What do you mean by that?
She was with you on the truck.
So what? I never touched her.
Didn't you?
What do you think I am?
I know what you are. As quickly as possible.
Gunji won't have been back again.
Yeah, I know. I heard the car.
Been rabbiting. Still haven't lost the knack.
Smells good. How's Dad?
He's well. Mum went and saw him yesterday. They're treating him well at the hospital. Fred and Rhonda left last night. They went across the border.
Good luck to her. They'll need it.
Andy and me think it's time we had a meeting. Discuss a few things with our people. Get them together. It'd be silly to wait until the board answers our petition.
Well, what will we say?
Ronnie, we don't think you should be involved.
I mean, it's up to here, Neary.
Yes, but you've got enough trouble as it is. What if Felton catches you? He'll lock you up.
Can't hide all the time. This way we'll bring things down there tonight.
Come in here and sit down.
Felton's called the police.
Let him.
You shouldn't be here. This is not the church's work, it's political. What did the bishop hear of this?
He just might agree with us. Right, let's get on with it. I'm very pleased to see all you Vala come here and support us tonight. Because at this meeting will come changes. And not only for Kamala, but for all our people everywhere. And that bloke Felton gonna come up these stairs, and we ain't got much time. Now my sister Narita would like to talk to you, Vala.
Well, as you all know, Andy here gave our petition to Mr. Watson of the Aboriginal Protection Board. We haven't heard back from them, but I think we've got to face the fact that even if they do replace Frank Felton, there's no guarantee that the next manager's going to be any better.
Because we know the government won't change. They don't care what happened to the mission or to us blackfellas on them.
For 18 years, there's been no money spent on repairs. I don't have to tell you that the houses are full of cracks and the roofs are leaking. Kumala was a good place to live in, once. Now there's neglect everywhere. The cattle's sick and gives no milk, our kids are starving, and the people dying of TB. The government's got a policy they call apprentice training for young Aboriginal people. They say they'll train us so that we can become like them. What it means is that our kids are taken away and put into places as far as Queensland. What's the future in that?
Yeah, we don't want that. No.
We need training in agriculture, administration, and school teaching so that we can take more responsibility in Kumala and other places. There's no one else in this country treated in such a humiliating way. We need a permit to go on and off the mission. We need a permit to visit our relatives. We need a permit to see the doctor. Our endowments are controlled by the manager. He tells us where we must buy our rations. Instead of butter, we get rancid fat and the flour's full of weevils.
And if that's what they call protection, then we don't want it.
There's a rumour that one day the government will think us worthy to become citizens in this country. But we need someone like Frank Felton to say we're suitable. We want our rights now.
What they really mean is they want us to stop seeing our relations, who are our tribal people. And they want us to give up our language and our culture. And we don't want that.
Who gave you people permission to hold a meeting? Right. You three are under arrest. That's Ron Anderson.
What's the charge?
Holding a meeting without a permit, being an unauthorised person on a mission, and assault. I'm going to have you charged with treason, and I'm going to make it stick.
How do you plead?
Not guilty.
And Narita Anderson, you are charged that on the 18th of September of this year, that at the Kumala government mission, you committed an act of treason against the king by certain diverse acts, namely holding a riotous gathering without a permit during a time of war. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
This is a very serious charge. Are we in the right court for it?
I'd say so.
Yes, Your Worship.
You know you are entitled to legal representation.
Mr. Watson's here, the Aboriginal Protection Board.
Your Worship?
Oh, yes. Well, let's get on with it.
And subsequent to a phone conversation I had with the manager, I proceeded to the mission in the company of Constable Tom Carter. We found a meeting in progress at the church hall, which was being conducted by the defendants. They were taken into custody, and I took possession of some notes I found on the table there.
Are these the notes? They are. I tender these notes as exhibits, Your Worship.
There has been no insubordination on the mission since I've been in charge, till Nerita Anderson returned from Melbourne. I'm sure that outside forces are trying to use her to incite disobedience and rioting on the mission.
Do you have any evidence to support this charge?
No direct evidence, Your Worship.
Did you have any trouble with the other two prior to the girl's arrival?
Well, I've always known that Anderson was a bit of a stirrer, but then you always get a couple of troublemakers on a mission.
Carry on.
Will you tell the court what sort of problems started occurring at the mission?
Well, there was a conspiracy against me, against my authority.
Oh, yes, you're referring to this petition to the Aboriginal Protection Board.
That's right.
What about the alleged assault?
Not relevant to the charge, Your Worship.
But he made my father sit in the back of the truck in the pouring rain while he was sick.
Be quiet, Anderson.
But he's twisting everything.
If you don't be quiet, you will be up for contempt of court. Carry on.
Did anyone approach you for permission to hold the meeting on the night of September the 18th?
No.
May I ask something here, Your Worship?
Are you finished with this witness?
Yes, Your Worship.
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to know the last time he gave permission for anyone to hold a meeting on the mission.
Well, I have to look that up.
Well, a week, 3 months, a year?
Or like 6 months, I'd say.
Yes, a meeting to raise money for a hospital and an ambulance. We organised a football game, Your Honour, to raise money, and I'd like to know what he's done with the funds.
It's in a trust account.
Yes, and there's a trust account he got for all the workers, which we ain't seen a single farthing of that. And he's selling cattle to the farmers. Mission cattle, Blongow cattle.
All this is quite irrelevant to the charge.
Then what is relevant?
No, no one approached me regarding use of the hall. The church hall, I mean.
And can you tell the court about the trouble that's taken place recently and when it started?
I should say, actually, there's been very little discontent.
Well, that's not what you said before.
Well, I've turned things over in my mind since I spoke to you, and...
Your Worship, I apply for leave to cross-examine him as a hostile witness.
Well, I can't see why. He's given you an explanation.
But, Your Worship...
Your Worship, I don't think these young people quite understood the gravity of their misdemeanor with regard to the unauthorized meeting. I'm sure they're quite genuine in their desire to help their people.
That's all, Mr. Short.
May I ask something?
Yes, but you must be brief. We've wasted enough time already.
Mr. Short, you go into the houses of our people. You know what the conditions are. You meet them every day. Will you please tell the magistrate what it's like in Kumala?
Well, to be truthful, I suggest the people on Kumala are not too badly off. Well, conditions are pretty harsh, of course. But conditions are harsh everywhere, especially in the cities. There is a depression after all. But they're good people. I remember with gratitude how Mrs. Anderson and Mrs. Morgan, both of whom are in the court here today, provided me with some wonderful meals. Better than some of our white brethren have seen for years.
That's the case, Your Worship.
I see. Well, you may step down. You anything to say for yourselves?
I just wanted to say it was important that we had that meeting. We had to let our people know what was going on. They are cut off from the rest of the world. They don't know their rights.
From what I've been told, you had already embarked on a proper course by asking the Aboriginal Protection Board for an inquiry.
Yes, but we never heard back from them.
Mr. Watson, is this inquiry to be held?
Yes, Your Worship. It will be considered at our next committee meeting. I'd also like to assure the court that the board is capable of dealing with this matter if Your Worship is content to leave the matter in our hands.
Yes. You must all learn to have patience. Rome wasn't built in a day. This whole matter has been a complete waste of the court's time. For a start, I fail to see how anyone could have thought the charge to be appropriate. I also fail to see any sinister connotation between Nerida Anderson's arrival at the mission and the subsequent disquiet, which has arisen more from dissatisfaction with the management rather than incitement by outside forces. The whole thing should have been dealt with by the Aboriginal Protection Board. I must say, though, I'm very disturbed with the rebellious attitude of you three here today. I'm going to put you all on a 6-month good behaviour bond. The charges are dismissed.
Just a minute, when can we have our say?
Be quiet, Anderson, and go, or you'll be charged with contempt of court.
But you haven't given us a chance.
Be quiet, Anderson.
Ah, you bloody gubbers.
Did you hear the deathbird?
It was a call, Mum. Nerida, your father's gone.
Ivy? Ivy, I'd like to express my heartfelt sympathy.
I remember when Bill used to go shearing. Used to come home, he'd be the only one with some money. He was a young, healthy man then. Yeah, and Nerida, we used to take you where you used to go. Yes.
Sorry, couldn't make it on time, man.
He's better off where he is.
Yeah, his brute can run free now.
Saved you on the army now.
Yeah, we had to. We had no choice. Yeah. Well, after that court case, the Gunjawang kept on hounding us all the time. So me and Andy decided to fight for the so-called freedom of this country.
Ron, we've decided to leave Kamala.
What do you mean?
We're going away and never coming back.
Mum, you can't leave this place. Where are you going to live?
In a tent if we need be.
And them white fellas out there, they still shoot blacks.
Ron, we'd rather be shot than live here. Everyone on the mission has decided to leave. There'll be at least 200 of us going across the border.
But whatever happens, Mum, keep my spirit with you, always.
I know, son. I know.
Where the hell do you think you're going? I'm talking to you. I never give you a permit to go anywhere.
We're going all the same.
You're still on a bond. I could bring in the police.
You'd do that, Mr. Felton.
Ivy, you've got no permit either. You leave here, you'll never get back on a mission.
That's all right by us.
Riley, you got no permit to be on the mission.
As ladies present, I'll tell you what to do with your permits.
Listen, it's the last time I'm asking you. You ought to be damn glad I'm willing to give you another go.
Will you let me go, Mr. Felton?
It's a fair offer.
There's no one in the world I despise as much as you.
You're breaking the law. Every one of you. I'll have the police round you all up. Go on, get them off the truck.
Why don't you go home and sober up?